Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Analysis for IAS 2025. It is 1st August today, and first of all, good morning to everyone. Every day we upload two videos on this YouTube channel. In the first one, we discuss the current affairs, which is in the morning session. We take up the most important articles from the Hindu newspaper and try to discuss them, try to break those articles in the simplest language possible and get the most, you know, the best information from them and, try to understand them in a very easy way. And in the evening session, we upload another video in which we discuss the questions related to the current affairs so that it will give us an idea how the questions could be framed from the current affairs, and we discuss and help you in revising your current affairs. And also we discuss the some previous year questions in that video, in the daily quiz session video, so that it will give you an idea how the questions do come do you how the questions how they ask the questions in the exam and help you prepare well, very well, for your next exam. Before we start our discussion about today's news analysis, I would like to highlight some points here. When you when you look at your newspaper, you see many articles in that, and every article seems either unnecessary, or every article seems important for your preparation. Now the question here is, reading a newspaper is very hectic job, and you should have a specific strategy to read those newspapers. Now, it is very hectic, time consuming. So what is the solution for that? I had been a student once like you, and and it was also hectic for me. But I learned it by time. What are the important articles which I have to learn, and that experience I'm putting it here. One more thing, अगर हम देखेंगे कुछ articles ऐसे होते हैं कि which do come after every 1 week you would see articles related to that. For example, अगर आप आज का हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर देखोगे तो in the editorial section you would see about the AI regulations. Such articles do come often in the newspaper, and if we would start discussing every day, we would read every day about that. To me it is like, you are wasting your time. And also for me, uploading videos about such articles every day, it is same like wasting your time and mine also. So I had skipped some of the articles which do often come in the newspaper. We had already discussed them, and when there is something important mentioned there, I will definitely take such articles. So without waste of any time, without wasting your time, let's see what are the articles which we have to discuss today. The first one, it is about the early detection of lung cancer can save lives. The second article, it talks about the center plans stricter norms for disability certificate with respect to the UPSC aspirants. We had seen how UPSC, how an IS officer, she was caught in doing this fraud, and it is with respect to that. Then the third article after this discussion is about the drainage system in the state of UP. As we had seen in the Legislative Assembly of UP, we had seen the water came inside the Legislative Assembly, and we had seen the pictures where the people used buckets to carry that water out. And the fourth article, it is about the privilege breach proceedings against MLAs, about the Madras High Court, the order they had given with respect to this. After that, we will discuss about the ED raids in Maharashtra. In this, we will discuss about the PMLA Act of 2002. After that, we have to discuss about Telangana to develop a city at Muchurla. We will discuss about it. This is the future city. It is the ambitious plan. We will discuss about it. Then after, we will discuss about the Supreme Court to decide if states can demand taxes on minors retrospectively. We discussed about this article. Now here the question is different, so we will take it. And Article 8, it talks about the judiciary can direct a government to conduct a performance audit of its laws, says the Supreme Court. And finally, the IAF's largest multilateral exercise to begin in this month. So these are the articles which we have to discuss in detail. Let us start with the early detection of lung. You know, about lung cancer, it is the most formidable public health concern. If we know about the history of it, it has been since the since the history of mankind. But how when it was first detected, it was first discovered in the early 90s. Then only when the imagine the way how it is discovered, how it is diagnostic, it is because of the images studies. Different images are studied, and that is how we can diagnose we can diagnose the lung cancer. you know and we should also know that the 1st August, it is it is given the status of the World Lung Cancer Day. And about the lung cancer, we should know that the out of all the cancers prevailing in our country, 10% of the cancer deaths are due to the lung cancer. you know but why are so many people are dying of the lung cancer? Even though we have the medication for that, we had the science and technology has reached to that stage where we can cure such cancers, but still why we are not able to control it? The basic reason for that is the detection time of these cancers. Usually when the lung cancer is detected, it is usually at the third or the fourth stage. It is that stage of the life, it is that stage of the lung cancer where the reversal of this is very much impossible. And you know death of a patient is you know is matlab ki is the future of that patient whose detection of lung cancer is at third or the fourth stage. It is it is not that much easy to reverse this cancer at that stage. What is the reason for why do we detect this lung cancer at later stages? Why we are not able to detect it at the earlier stages? The reason highlighted by the author in this article was he highlighted four reasons for that. First one, inadequate screening. Patient, there is not screening is not that much common in our in the citizens of our country. They don't prefer to go for screening. There is inadequate screening. Also there is resource constraints, and also lack of structural referral system, and also high burden of TB. When we have these things, TB, high burden of TB, and other resource constraints and inadequate screening, so it becomes definitely very much impossible to detect the cancer at the earlier stages. Usually in our country, this is the norm that only मतलब कि एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनी है लोगों में कि सिर्फ जो स्मोकर्स होते हैं, they have the they are the people who are who get in who have this this disease of cancer, this disease of lung cancer. But this is very much untrue, because we had seen in the North India 40% of lung cancer patients are those who don't even smoke. There are from the 2007 itself, we had seen the rise of the lung cancer patients in the non-smokers had risen to 30%. 30% increase in such patients who are not smoking, or who don't even smoke. Such patients who don't even smoke, the lung cancer rate has increased more than 30% from 2007. Also, the reason for this lung cancer in non-smokers are the pollutants in the air. For example, particulate matter 1.0, particulate matter 2.0. We had dangerous gases in the atmosphere. For example, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and also second-hand smoking done, somebody smoking in front of them. These are the causes of the lung cancer in the non-smokers. So here the question is, India does not have right now, the India does not have the systematic lung cancer screening program because of the cost and logistics effects. We don't have that much, we don't have systematic lung cancer program. Lung cancer, about the lung cancer, we should know that It can be detected or diagnosed by the imaging methods such as chest X-rays and CT scans. By the help of the rays, we can diagnose it. We can learn the figuring of the lung cancer. And also the new technology has been, in एक नई technology आई है. The name is the low dose computer technology, LDCT. It has become a game changer. It uses 5 times less radiation than a conventional CT scan and has become a first choice for early lung cancer detection. So, with respect to that, it is said that if this lung cancer is detected earlier, if the detection is, in the primary stages, it is detected, then the mortality rate would reduce to the highest levels if this cancer is detected at the primary stage. So, this was about the early detection of lung cancer. We discussed about the and about its discovery. We saw what are why are so many deaths because of the lung cancer. Why we detect it at later stage because of inadequate screening, resource constraints, lack of structural referral system, and high burden of tuberculosis. We see that the understanding in our country that non-smokers don't get lung cancer, which is totally incorrect. We had seen 40% of the cancer patients in the North India are the non-smokers, and the cause of the cancer, lung cancer in the non-smokers is said the pollutants in air, for example, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter 1, particulate matter 2.5. So how it is detected? It is detected by the imaging method from the X-rays and CT scans. And also now we have the low dose computer technology. It is said that it is a game changer. It detects the lung cancer at the earlier stages, and it uses 5 times less radiation than the conventional CT scans, and has become a first choice for early lung cancer detection. So this was about the lung cancer. Now moving to the another article of today's discussion, it talks about the center plan stricter norms for disability certificates. We had why these norms had been brought out. What is the reason for that? We had seen recently in the news some IAS officer, she had committed fraud regarding the disability certificates, and now because of some actions she had done, she has been caught out, and now this has become the news of the town. So with respect to that, the center has center plans stricter norms for disability certificates. What is the reason for what to tighten requirements for obtaining disability certificates? Union government published draft amendments to the they had published draft amendments to the rules of the rights of a person with disabilities act, RPWT Act 2016. What are the proposed amendments here? The proposed amendments are the first one, the mandatory identity proof and a medical authority involvement and longer process. There is mandatory identity proof where the photograph of a patient, of the aspirant would be needed, Aadhaar card would be needed, and also the medical authority involvement for the longer process. The photograph which is needed should not be older. The photograph which they submit, it should not be older than the 6 months, and also only the medical authorities can be considered competent. With respect to this, time, and also competent. Only the medical authorities would be considered competent with respect to the uh, claims of the disabled student. With respect to the the medical authorities to be considered competent to receive and process applications for disability certificates. Further, what was suggested that the time taken to process each application, the time taken to process each application has been increased, should be increased from 1 month to 3 months. Earlier we have only 1 month for time taken to assess these applications. Now it is proposed to be increased to 3 months. We had seen huge, there since the government is trying to bring out such you know such government is trying to bring out such norms. It is the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. They had put it in the Gazette of India. These They had published these proposed amendments in the Gazette of India. With this, there had been criticism to it, because this is the problem of this fake certificates has not been issued in it according to the critics, because the main problem is the corruption in the offices, corruption with the medical authorities. That has not been you know addressed here. इट देर मतलब कि जो चेंजेस यहाँ पे लाई है, फॉर एग्जांपल 1 मंथ के बदले 3 मंथ का टाइम दिया जाएगा एसेस करने के लिए. दूसरी, ओनली द डॉक्टर्स मेडिकल अथॉरिटी वुड बी दे विल गिव द फाइनल डिसीजन अबाउट इट. दिस डज नॉट कहा जाता है कि इट वोंट इम्पैक्ट दे, मतलब कि इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा अगर फेक सर्टिफिकेट्स पे. इट द कोर प्रॉब्लम इज द करप्शन हियर. अगर यही मेडिकल ऑफिसर्स करप्ट होंगे, स्टिल दिस करप्शन, स्टिल दिस फेक सर्टिफिकेट्स विल गो ऑन विदाउट एनी प्रॉब्लम. और इसकी वजह से, एंड बट द क्रिटिक्स फर्दर से दैट, मतलब कि जो इसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे जेन्युइन कैंडिडेट्स को, जेन्युइन एप्लीकेंट्स को टू गो थ्रू द सिस्टम, दे विल गेट इनटू द प्रॉब्लम रादर देन these fake people who want to get these fake certificates. So there are the real issue, according to the critics, the real issue is not addressed in it. Rather than, it would be time consuming even for the genuine candidates. The real question about the corruption has not been addressed in it. So what we discussed in this article, the tightening requirements for obtaining disability certificates. Union government published draft amendments. It was the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. They published these proposed amendments in the Gazette of India. What are the proposed amendments? That the mandatory identity proof and medical authority involvement. Also, a photo not older than 6 months. Only medical authorities will be considered competent to address this issue and give the disability certificates. So these are the things which were, and also the time taken to process each application should be increased from 1 month to 3 months. These are the proposed amendments with respect to the disability certificates. With respect to the rules of the rights of a person with disabilities Act of 2016. Now, moving forward to the another article, it talks about the drainage system in UP. We had seen the pictures on the internet how CM Yogi Adityanath, he was escorted to alternate route, and we had seen the water seeping into the legislative assembly of the UP. We had seen people taking water out by the help of the buckets. So this raises a question on infrastructure and working of the municipal corporation of the state. If the condition of the legislative assembly of the state is like that, what would be the condition of the other offices? What would be the condition of the local people there? This raises a very specific question on the infrastructure and working of the municipal corporation, what they are doing with respect to the drainage system in their particular state. So what is the role of for this we have to understand the role of the municipal corporation in a particular state. So what is their role? What the crucial role they play a crucial role in drainage system. They help in planning and designing drainage system. They are involved in constructing and maintaining storm water drains, sewers, and culverts. They are responsible for ensuring proper waste management and disposal. They are responsible for regulating building constructions to prevent drainage obstruction. They are responsible for monitoring and controlling water pollution. They are responsible for the flood control management, and they are responsible for public health and hygiene. But unfortunately, the condition in UP has seen different. We see different. We see the incompetence of the municipal corporation there. The things are not working very well. So the conditions in the legislative assembly raises the question how the water has seeped in. How we can imagine what would be the condition of the civil people, local people there, and because of that, the working and the competence of the municipal corporation has been under the questioned. So this was a very simple article. It basically, the main focus of this article is about the functioning, what is the role of the municipal corporation, about how does it play, मतलब कि its role with the drainage system planning and designing, construction and maintaining storm water drain sewers, ensuring proper waste management and disposal, regulating building construction, monitoring and controlling water pollution, flood control management, and public health and hygiene. How it is involved with all these activities in the particular state to ensure that the citizens of the state remain safe, and they have proper access to the roads without any without any obstruction, irrespective of the environment conditions. Because the development of a state does have, the if the state is not developed that much, then the smallest change in the environment will have the impact on it. So it does play this municipal corporation does play a huge role in it, in the development of the state. Moving forward to the another article, it talks about the privilege breach proceedings against MLAs can continue in next assembly, says Madras High Court. Why this? Uh, why we are going to discuss this? Because in the Madras Legislative Assembly in Tamil Nadu, we had seen the the incompetent Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and 17 other members of DMK party. They displayed the Gudka sachets in the assembly. Because of that, it was said that it is the breach of privilege, and it went to the High Court of the Madras. After the assembly ended, the Madras High Court, what they did, a single judge bench, a single judge, he cautioned the case to showcase. He cautioned this case out. He said that as the assembly ended, now there is no need of discussing it. But recently, this case went to the higher bench of the Madras, and they gave the different, different judgment with respect to that. With respect to that case, what did they say? They said that the power of the Committee of Privileges and the Speaker of House will not lapse. The committee, it won't lapse with the even when the government changes. Well, here we have to discuss about the point of discussion in this article is not about what happened in the Madras. The point of discussion here is about the Committee on Privileges. What is that, and how does it function? How it is mentioned in the Constitution. About the Committee on Privileges, it generally refers to a committee established to safeguard the privileges and immunities of the Parliament and its members. It refers to committee established to safeguard the privileges and immunities of the Parliament and its members. When any MP or MLA, they are elected in the Legislative Assembly or Parliament, they enjoy some privileges. So it protects those privileges and immunities of the Parliament and its members. Legislative process runs smoothly, so that the legislative process runs smoothly and members can perform their duties without interference or obstruction, without undue interference and or obstruction. So these committee on privileges are formed. The committee also addresses issues such as breach of privileges, matters of contempt, and violation of parliamentary rules and norms by the members. So this committee also addresses like breach of privileges, matters of contempt, and violation of parliamentary rules and regulations. The functioning of the committee is investigating the complaints, recommending the actions, and safeguarding the parliamentary immunity. About the immunities to the MPs, we have Article 105 and 194. They talk about the privileges and immunities of the members of Parliament in Lok Sabha and also in the state legislative assemblies. With respect to the mention of the privileges committee, here we don't have a proper mention in the constitution, but under the Lok Sabha rules 222 and the Rajya Sabha rule 187, it provides the details on the composition and functioning of the privileges committee in their respective houses. You know, this is about the privileges committee, and why we are discussing. Let's recap it again. Why we are discussing it, because this case came into the Madras High Court after a single judge order in 2020, in which they this single judge, he cautioned the complaints against the then sitting Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and 17 members, as they showed Gutka sachets in the assembly. So he cautioned that because according to him, the assembly ended, and with the end of the assembly, with the end of the government, and that the privileges committee and the power of the speaker also ended. But this has been changed by the another judgment of the Madras High Court. What did they say? They said that the power of the Committee of Privileges and those of the Speaker of the House will not lapse merely on account of change of the government, said the High Court. Because if it does happen like that, if it is said like that, that it अगर ये ऐसे change हो जाएगा, अगर ये lapse हो जाएगी, then the core functioning of the मतलब core purpose of the privileges committee का it would be diluted, क्योंकि then there would be no purpose of it having it. It won't do justice to its office. So this was about the privileges committee and the case with respect to which we had discussed it. I hope I was able to make you understand this in a simplest way. Now moving to the another article, it talks about the ED raids in Maharashtra in with respect to the PMLA violations case. Here, we don't have to do anything about what ED did to whom it did in Maharashtra. Right here, we will discuss about the PMLA, what it is. It is about the PMLA. It is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2022. It signifies a piece of legislation in India. It is aimed at combating money laundering and financing of terrorism. This PMLA, it provides the legal framework for the enforcement of anti-money laundering measures and helps ensure that illicit financial activities are investigated and prosecuted. मतलब कि it is against money laundering. It is against the terror financing. It gives it it provides the legal framework for the enforcement of anti-money laundering measures, and it helps in ensuring that the illicit financial activities are investigated and prosecuted. This act it of PMLA, it empowers authorities to attach and confiscate properties derived from or involved in derived from for मतलब कि it allows authorities to attach and confiscate properties of a person who is involved in money laundering act. This is mentioned in the section 5 to 7. The section 5 to 7 of the PMLA deals with the procedure for attachment, confiscation and disposal of such properties. With respect to this, the Enforcement Directorate is the primary agency responsible for enforcing the PMLA. This Enforcement Directorate, it investigates the use of cases of money laundering and is empowered to take actions against individuals and authorities involved in the laundering or money laundering actions. About the if anybody is caught under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so for them to get a bail is not that easy, because the burden of proof is not on the authorities who caught him, but on the person who is caught under this act. So until he is not able to prove himself innocent, until then the bail for him to get a bail is practically very impossible. So that's why it is said that this PMLA Act is misused by the center against its against its opposition, so that for them to get the bail would be very much impossible, and to have its political motives. So this is just a blame. This is what the critics say. But here, what we need to know about the PMLA, the basics of the PMLA, I think I made it very much clear in this article. Now moving forward to the another article, it talks about the Telangana CM announces to develop a city at Muchurla. Revnath Reddy, he said that he is the sitting CM of the Telangana. According to him, the government of the Congress government there, they are planning to develop the fourth city after Hyderabad, Secunderabad, and the Cyberabad. It would be the pharma city of the Telangana. It is the future city of the state. Venue for this future city, the venue would be the Muchirla, where huge lands are acquired for developing pharma city. The government plans to set up Young India Skills University at Muchirla. About this is at this is to shift to the national and shift to the National Academy of Construction there to provide training. This would be the health city, as this city the city as healthcare hub. This city will have the healthcare hub. There would be the healthcare hub in the city, and also it is proposed that supports infrastructure would be developed in the city so that it can host the international matches of different supports, whether it would be a cricket or any other support. So this was about the Telangana CM's announcement to develop a city at Muchurla, the pharma city. It would be the health city of the state, and here the government has planned to set up Young India Skills University, and also they are going to shift to the National Academy of Construction there to provide the skill training. This was about it, a very small article. Now moving to the another article of today's discussion, it talks about the Supreme Court to decide if states can demand taxes on minors retrospectively. We had recently discussed about this, the taxes on minors. Here we have to discuss that whether it is a decision would be retrospective or it would be the prospective. Would it be taken retrospectively or prospectively? The nine-judge bench Supreme Court order recently, in which eight judges upheld the authority of the state to collect the taxes on the minors. It is the right of the state to collect these taxes. Now, with respect to that, the Solicitor General, he went to the court, urged to clarify about this judgment, about about whether it would be collected retrospectively or it would be collected uh, prospectively. About retrospectively, it means that मतलब कि अगर आज जजमेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दी तो उससे पहले भी मतलब कि जितने भी टैक्सेस मतलब कि जितना भी काम उन्होंने किया है, they have to pay taxes for that. Prospectively means if this judgment is given today, from now onwards it will work on. So with respect to that, the Solicitor General, he urged the court to clarify that the judgment would apply prospectively, that is from 25th of July, and not prior to it. Allowing states to demand retrospectively taxes would have cascading effect. It would have very bad effect on the common people. It can crush these industries. For example, usually it is used by the steel industries, and if the taxes are taken retrospectively, it will crush them. It will give rise of the risk of the bankruptcy to these industries. So that is why it is said that the case has been taken by the Supreme Court, and they will clarify this judgment about this part, about the retrospective or prospective part of this judgment. Now let us see what the Supreme Court says about it. There are very high risks if this judgment is taken on the retrospective basis. Like it would impact the common people. It will crush the industrial base, and also it will give rise to the risk of bankruptcy to those investors or industries. Now moving forward, we have another article here. It is also with respect to the judiciary, as it says, judiciary can direct a government to conduct the performance audit of its laws, says Supreme Court. Here the Supreme Court, it upheld the power, the duty to conduct the Supreme Court has upheld the power, nay, the duty of the judiciary to direct the government to conduct a performance audit of its statutory laws to assess their actual impact on the ground. In this, the Justice Narsimha, who wrote the judgment, said every government has a constitutional duty to ensure that the purpose and the objective of the statute is accomplished while implementing it. For example, if any law is made by the government, and it is the duty of the government for what they had made that law, the purpose should get, they have to get the purpose for which they had made it. For example, if they are making any law for the poor people, then the poor people should get the benefit of that. It is the duty of the states to check whether they are getting the benefit of that. With respect that, the Supreme Court has directed, they can, with respect that, the Supreme Court can direct the government to conduct the performance audit of its laws. Government should know the impact of the statute they are having. They should know the impact of the law they are having. And according to the Supreme Court, assessing the impact of the law on the people, it is an integral part of the rule of the law. So this was with respect to this article, very small article. Here few points which we need to know: the power, need the duty. What does it mean? Thus, what does it mean to direct the judiciary can direct the government to conduct a performance audit of its own. Power, the power, the duty. It means it is Supreme Court can direct the government to do something. About this, why is this audit necessary? Because it should be the duty of the government to check the laws they are making, and does benefit the people for whom they are making this law. Government, while making the law, government should know the impact of the statute they are having, and assessing it is an integral part of the rule of the law. Now forward to the another article, which is the last article of today's discussion. It talks about the IAF's largest multilateral exercise to begin this year, and the name of this Indian Air Force's largest multilateral exercise is Tarang Shakti. It will take place in two phases. In the phase one, which will start from the August at Sulur, Tamil Nadu, and the phase two in September at Jodhpur. India has invited 51 countries. 10 countries will participate with the assets of there, and 18 countries would be the observer countries. 100, it is said that 150 aircrafts, both foreign and from Indian Air Force, would participate in it. In the phase one, Germany, France, Spain, UK would be there, and in phase two, Australia, Bangladesh, Greece, Singapore, UAE, and US will take part. This is about the Tarang Shakti, India's IAF's largest multilateral exercise, which would begin in the month of August. So with this, I hope I did not complicate these videos, these articles for you. I tried to explain them into the simplest language. Please do write in the comments if any changes I need to bring in while delivering the information. I hope you would like the video and you would share it with your friends, and please do subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much.